gamers, I have made some exceptional progress. This may be my Roblox magnum opus so far. I have been working on terrain generation. Look at this. Just look at all the decor and the texture blending and all the shorelines are smooth, but the blocks, they're blocky. Very nice. The frame rate's kind of slow because I'm recording. That's the only reason why it's slow. So we're going to lower it, and even at a lower graphics quality, it still looks great with the lighting effects. We got moving clouds. I'm just going to walk through. And kind of showcase how it's all come together, how it all works, and that sort of thing. So how the terrain is being made is it's using 2 octave noises. I think Perlin, something along that. Actually, no, it's like 3D. It's like the same sort Minecraft I think beta used, because I really love how the structures came out in that version, where they came out super random, and there weren't supposed to be any sky islands. They were just kind of a little mishap that happened, but they kind of left it in. But these are fully intentional. I could definitely just make a script that says, hey, if there's nothing connected to here, then don't render it, obviously. But I like them. And as a matter of fact, they have like vines coming off of them. They got like stalactites or stalagmites, either of the two. And then there's only 2 terrain materials to work with that are blocky, which is wooden planks and brick. So that's the stone, the brick, and then this is the wooden planks, of course, retextured to be both grass and stone. And then sand is, sand, if that makes sense, I guess. Then you have like just a flat plane for water. We could definitely use like the water variant, but I think that'd be a little too much. And I think this looks pretty nice in itself, a nice smooth, and the texture, the animated texture on it works pretty well. We have like little buds of rocks, just kind of jutting out of the water. I could definitely add in a variable to like have them come off at random heights. So we'll continue here. I think we're going to try looking for a cave, actually, because there's not really anything that generates below this surface right here, but there are a ton of overhangs, and some of them like feel like caves. And these gray boxes here are placeholders, and essentially why these are generated here is that these are going to be the quote-unquote cave items, and how these generate is a raycast cast down to the surface. So it casts down to the surface, and then it casts back upwards 50 studs, and if it hits any blocks above it, it's like, oh, okay, cool, I'm in a cave. So that's how it knows. I'm like, oh, I'm in a quote-unquote dark area, because it can't really detect unless someone can tell me how. That is the only way I feel like I can tell this block, hey, you're in a dark area, is by having it do a raycast upwards. And if it like touches a ceiling, then it's like, okay, cool, it's dark. So we're gonna have like mushrooms, like lanterns. I want to put in like foliage and like plants that glow, so we have like nice lighting effects happening. I think it works out pretty good. And then these trees have particles coming off of them. Nothing too crazy there. You have bushes. And then, yeah, we have this neat little cove area that generates here. I'm going to try to look for like another one, like this one here, where these ones are dark. I'm also going to run another check to see if they're in water. So then we have like different variants of like rock that have like barnacles on them, or like families of fish. Yeah, this is a cave area that generates, like I said. This is just, like I didn't tell the code to make a cave, it just happened to make one, which works. And then I give all these different blocks context and where to spawn, and then it feels like a cave. That's kind of pretty much it. Honestly, really, really happy with how this came out. And you go up here and it's like nice and bright. And even with just having just 2 blocks, like it, each area feels pretty distinct, if that makes sense. And then we can have like I can probably make like a temperature map, I suppose. where each region has like its own temperature, so you can have like, I don't know, like cactus or something, or like more arid trees, and then like have like snowy trees happen in some of them, and like have like a couple voxels of like the snow terrain, so that there's like a little bit of smoothness but still very much blocky, if that makes sense. I don't know if the words that are coming out of my mouth make sense, but they are in my head. So we got another cove area, very cool. We'll see what's in here actually. Is there an exit here? No, this is like a genuine cave. Oh wait, no. There's an exit point here. Yeah, that's the cool part about these, is like this, there's always almost an exit. Like, look at this. Look at that. That's pretty neat. Pretty rad. You can go in through here again. Actually, no, I'm gonna go this way. And it's fun to explore because like I give the whatchamacallit, the terrain some parameters, and it makes something completely random. And I think the problem with modern Minecraft's terrain generation is that there's like too many like restrictions to them, where it's like, hey, if you're in a desert, you can only do this, 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 and this. But you know, this is only one biome, and a lot of the areas feel kind of different, especially with like the terrain shapes. Look, it's another cave area, very cool. And you know, as a programmer, like it's really hard to get surprised by the things you make, if that makes sense, because like, you know, you wrote it yourself. And like whenever I do like, oh, choose a random thing, and then it just, you know, chooses something I already made myself, and like I see the random assortment of things I made, I'm like, okay, I made that, so there's, you know, there's no, wow, I didn't expect that, if that makes sense. But here, I'm like, wow, I didn't expect this thing to generate. So I'm just kind of yapping as I kind of walk through, and there's not a whole lot of lag happening. It hitches a lot at the beginning because that's when it generates all the terrain pieces. What is that? Oh, and then what? Yeah, once again, two these cave parts are like, okay, hey, yep, there's something above me. And it is kind of dark. It kind of works out because there is some shade to it, so it does make sense that it works like that. And I think we're at the edge of the world, and look at this. Now we're in like a much beachier region comparative to like the rest of the stuff we've worked on. I mean, that we've looked at. This feels a lot more beachy, very covey. I don't know, it's a very cozy generation. I want to turn these into trusses so you can like climb up them, but I haven't done that yet. It's just a floating island with a freaking vine off it. It's so majestic. It's so silly. We can have like beehives like on these or something. I don't know what else to put as like hanging things. Maybe like lanterns, like hanging lanterns. And then we can do like a double check to see like, hey, if the thing is and actually no, never mind. I'm yapping out of my ass right now. And then we have the terrain border. There's no invisible wall, so you can just jump off the world, honestly. And if you do, that's a skill issue, very big skill issue. And yeah, look at this, so silly. I don't know, guys. I'm just really happy about how it's looking, and I think it'll be up to the standards of the person I'm working with on this, because I'm working with someone else on this. And I was like, you know, she said, bro, it's kind of looking too blocky, because I sent her a couple progress images like I don't know, like 4 days ago, 3 days ago, and it, you know, it was looking rough. Like, it was looking good, but you know, rough at the same time, you know. But damn, I didn't expect it to look this cool. I was kind of expecting it to look like, I don't know, like an unorganized mess. But like, it is a mess, but you know, with all these decorative pieces, it feels a lot more cohesive, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, look at this. It's like a pyramid with like a single sunflower on top. Like, why? What? How did this generate? I don't know. I mean, I know the parameters and like the reasoning behind how it generated, but the chances of it generating make me question it, if that makes sense. Very cool. And I know to probably a lot of people watching it, this probably isn't anything too crazy, right? I mean, compared to like other games you play and like other things you've seen, it's like, okay, this isn't really all that interesting, Gabe. but I think it's cool. So I'm going to make a video on it and upload it to my channel. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. And another cave, very, very cool. And the world will be a lot cooler once I put in, like, you know, animals and monsters and, like, quest givers and, like, NPCs that do different things, like mind blow. I want to make NPCs, you know, powered by, like an AI chatbots and stuff, where you can kind of talk to them and, like, they build stuff. And they're not going to build anything amazing, of course. They're just going to mine and then, you know, find resources across the world, and you can trade with them. So, like, a kind of a combination between, like, a wandering trader and an enderman and, you know, a standard villager. Right? The only two blocks you'd be able to build with would be grass and stone, because those are the only two blocky material types. And then, of course, I could just add in parts, but then, you know, if I let players put in a gajillion parts, then, of course, then it's going to lag. Because the reason I'm using, you know, voxel terrain is because I don't really need to care too much about, you know, backface culling and, you know, a level of detail, because Roblox already takes care of those processes and algorithms for me, so I don't really have to think about it. But if I put in parts, then that means I have to come up with my own custom solutions, and they probably won't be as effective as the ones that, you know, Roblox, you know, just gives you out of the box, you know, because, like, if a feature is, like, kind of built in, you know, why make your own? Like, I know, you know, there's valid reasons to do so, but I feel like this is the best I can do without sinking, like, a gazillion hours into it, if that makes sense. And I've been walking, and, like, I'm still encountering some new stuff, and, like, keep in mind that this is only, like, okay, I'm retarded, I had to count on my hands, like, 20, this is only 25 chunks. We've only been walking through 25 chunks in total. Like, I zoom out, actually, no, I can't zoom out here, I gotta go to, like, the top of a cliff. I mean, I wish I could get, oh, wait, look, I can get on top of there by going over there. Very nifty. It'll be a lot easier to get up there once I re-add block placement. Alright, let's see. Oh, let's see. I want to do, like, an epic zoom out or something. Okay, cool. So this is, like, almost on, like, the edge. Let me get up there. Look at that. That's a lot of parts. Look at that render distance. Oh yeah, and, like, you go to, like, other, you know, Roblox Minecraft clones, and the render distance is so gay. It's such a gay, but look at this render distance. Like, sure, you see that they begin getting super blocky, but you can see a lot more. You can see a ton more. And then the parts, you can still see the parts, because the parts are pretty much unaffected by LOD. The only thing that LOD is doing is just, you know, the blocks themselves, and nothing else. Which I should probably add in some LOD for meshes. Like, I'm sure there's, like, already, like, a parameter I can, like, click on or something. But not yet. This is interesting. This is interesting. So I haven't made any code for it to check if a part is already there. But I'm happy with how this looks, so I'm going to keep it in. There might just be, like, a rock. There might be a tree jutting out of a rock or something, and that's pretty neat to think about. Oh, we have, like, a little forest down there, very cool. I think what I'll do for temperature is I'll just do it by chunk. So, because a chunk is 128 by 128 voxels, and each of them is, like, 4 studs by 4 studs. And then you're probably thinking, well, hey, why does the player look, you know, that big compared to 4 studs? And because I wanted to change the size of the voxels to be smaller, but of course, you know, due to Roblox's limitations, blah 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 blah, you can't, right? So what I did was just make the player bigger, and I'll just have to make all the other enemies and stuff, you know, bigger in comparison. And, you know, it works out pretty okay. Like, you know, at a glance, you could assume that, like, the player is just the same size as they are in every game, you know, unless you're a complete Roblox, you know, nerd who, like, I don't know, based on the camera position, according to the head, I understand that this Robloxian has been resized by 1.5 times. And if you could figure that out, more power to you. And number two, I'm not impressed. Go build something. And yeah, I think that's it. No, there's still more to look at, I guess. Well, I mean, there's no new assets or features to showcase besides, like, the ways in which they're arranged. Oh, but circling back to what I was about to say about based on chunk, I'll just like set a different temperature for each chunk, because each chunk's pretty big, so I can be like, okay, this one's a cold chunk, so generate some snowy trees, and this one's like a temperate chunk, so like generate some like foliage, and then so on and so forth. And different levels of complexity are going to be added to it, so it's going to take some ooga booga brain power, but I think I'll power through it. Another random sunflower. Hello, sunflower. You know what I should do is just like make bees, like a chance for like bees to like be circling around certain flowers. I think that'd be cool. And then like for fireflies to also appear in dark areas, because like as I said before, it's easy to calculate where a dark area is, or like an approximate. Look, what the hell? See, this is interesting too. This is interesting me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the ray starts at about like right here, and then goes down, and then goes up. So like I was assuming, based on me coding, that like if the ray casts down from the top, it would only just do stuff at the top because it would hit the top. But I made a mistake, and a good one at that, is that instead of starting at the top, it starts at like the middle. So then there's instances in where there can be like a ceiling above it, because it starts inside of the cave, so there's nothing to collide with on its way down. Instead of, if I set all the rays to start above everything, then there'd be nothing like this occurring. So I'm really happy that I messed up on that code there, because otherwise this could never happen. So accents in procedural generation are really cool. It might just be me, like me having like a really short, just having short-term memory. But I feel like I'm still looking at new things, if that makes sense. I don't think I've seen this before. So yeah, I'm more than convinced I can get away with just providing players a 5x5 chunk area every time, and they'll like be able to explore like the whole thing in like a couple hours instead of like a couple minutes. I don't think I need to make the world any bigger. Like, I think this is as big as like slightly bigger than like a Minecraft Pocket Edition world. Or what I could do is just check the size of like a console edition world, and then just emulate that 1-to-1 size-wise. It's been 18 minutes and I still have things to say about this, which is very funny. And there's still a ton more assets to put in, because these are just kind of generic. I mean, they're not bad looking. I'm not saying, oh man, these models are garbage, blah. Like, I'm just saying, there's very few of them. There's very few models, but they're still pretty cool. And here's like, okay, here's another world border. And I guess what I could do is just have a, I don't know, like a couple. What is that? Oh no, this is where we started. This is exactly where we started, actually. Yeah, I'll just have like a couple flat ones, because like you can also mine like all the way down to like there, so you can have some like underwater bases if you want. I don't know why you'd make an underwater base, but free will is the name of the game here. I could name this game Free Will. That'd be so silly. But no, I'm just kidding about that. Just kidding about that. I need to add in some mobs, some like passive mobs, like sheep and stuff, and pigs and cows that they go moo. That they go moo. Yeah. Vines. I'm very happy with how the vines came out. Blah, blah, blah. Do. Yeah, I really need to turn these into light sources so that these can be a bit more, a bit cooler. Look at this random clearing. This like clearing too. Cause oh yeah, also there, did I say that? Did I say how the noises were made? Okay, so like first there's a flat noise that's generated, which is like all these like flat planes. So this is like one. So like this green part here with this like yellow is one noise, because like at first it was just like the super big caves and there was no floor below it. I was like, and I was messing around with like the big noise of the floor for like a couple hours, and I'm like, wait a minute, can't I just keep this and then make a second noise that's kind of like flat? And I'm like, oh, I'm using 2 different noise maps, this is cool. And then maybe I was thinking of making one for like the clouds, so that the clouds could also be kind of blocky. But I'm like, no, it's too much, because all the models are like, you know, smooth and polygonized. I'm gonna say polygonized, and like, you know, the terrain's cubic. And I was thinking this is something like Dragon Quest Builders, where like, you know, the aesthetic kind of works, especially with like the textures being, you know, PBR. And like not pixelated. So I'm like, okay, this style kind of works out. And you know, with this being kind of smooth too, you know, being smooth in some areas, so that, you know, there's a blend of smooth and blocky. Because from like my last devlog, it was really all over the place. I was like, yeah, this is cool, but it just doesn't feel right. But this does. Especially with like an adherence to like a light pastelish color palette, where like the last one was kind of just all over the place. And yeah, I think I'm gonna release the source code for this once it looks goodish enough to me, because there's still some stuff to put in, some stuff to take out. Oh, I thought that was a fish for a second. I don't know, I walked past and I thought like something was moving. That's weird. What else is there to look at? Another cool thing there. Maybe I can have like ladders actually, or like have a generation where like it starts from like the bottom. Oh no, it gets a cave. No, I'm thinking now. So we get like a cave. We get a cave block, and instead of being 50, it checks for the 50, and if there's nothing at the 50, we'll have it check like another 200, and if it touches something, it can make like a ladder that you can climb, and then has like a little like platform to walk on or something, so it's like a little pirate alcove or something. I don't know. All I do know is that there is a lot to do. Oh, what the hell? Look at this. Look at this one too. I like that. That's cool. Do. So yeah, hopefully my game partner likes this terrain, because I spent a lot of time on it. I spent a lot of time on it, like 2 weeks so far. But it's okay. It's okay. But yes, I need to put in some mobs. And then for the AI, I'm not too sure. Like, I think because I want the mobs to spawn in like different sections. So like, you know, monsters are going to spawn in the dark, and then, you know, you can have like fish spawn in the water, and then animals spawn only on grass. And then, you know, to keep them on like the grass and stuff, and like to make sure that they stay in their like little region, we'll just have like a block spawn, and then have the mobs spawn around the spawn block. It'll be just like a mob spawner, but the mob spawner will be invisible. pretty much. And if they walk too far away from it, they'll walk back to it, or like walk in an area, a random area around it. I think that would solve the problem, so that like mobs aren't wandering too far off into areas that don't make sense. Because I mean, you'll see it sometimes, but when will you see a pig in like a cave, for example? Like you might see them like on the edge of a ravine or something, or like at a cave mouth, but you don't see them going into it. But at the same time, it's probably because they despawn when you like walk into a cave or like around a cave. I don't know. Or maybe they're drawn to grass. That's probably another thing too. Could maybe have them just be focused on targeting specific materials. So like maybe say for example I'm a pig. I'm like, you know, I'm looking for places to walk, valid places, and I see there's stone up here, so I can't walk over there. But I see grass. Boot doot 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 doot, and all of a sudden I'm over here, and this becomes valid. This block becomes valid because it's grass. And I'm like, doot 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 doot, walks up here, and then walks over here, doot doot doot, walking around, and it's kind of over here, but oh, that's too far, so I'm not going to walk over to it. More grass, doot 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 doot. And then same thing for mobs, maybe, where they'll be walking around, doot 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 doot, and they like walk randomly, and then they're over here, and then they do a raycast above them. Okay, this is fine because there's a ceiling above me. Doot 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 doot. They walk over here, but oh, there's no ceiling above me. This must mean I'm not in a cave anymore. Walk back to a valid location. That was a cave. Doot 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 doot. I think that'll be how that works. Probably. I don't know. And now I've been walking around for 30 minutes. Very crazy. And I haven't really added any features yet, and I'm having fun, just kind of taking in the sights, and I haven't even changed the world yet. I'm still walking around on the same 25 chunks. Very interesting, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe, no, never mind. I'm thinking, because then and then for like cold chunks, I can replace the sand with like glacier. So that I can still retain like the blockiness, because I can't change these two textures at all. So I had to make them like the most universal ones I can just place in any biome, like sort of deal, right? Like very ubiquitous terrain. Like, you know, you'll find grass almost everywhere and stone pretty much everywhere on Earth. And more exploring. I think I've already been over here. The same cove. It just looks cool. I think this video is just me glazing myself a little too much, I think. But I'm tired and I'm like, wow, this is actually cool. I don't hate this thing I made. Because it's very easy to be deprecative about things when you spend a lot of time on them and then they just look like absolute garbage. But this one isn't absolute garbage. It's very cool. I really hope I can actually finish a project using this, because I don't finish a lot of projects, and I think that's a really big problem I have. Yes. Well, hopefully you enjoyed seeing the sights of this voxel terrain I made. And yeah, I think this is distinct enough from the other ones on Roblox to get some kind of attention, maybe? And then maybe if I make a game, I can just shoot it out to YouTubers or something. Be like, play this game. It looks really cool. And I can just like paste in like the quest system I made from the previous devlog pretty easily, because I made everything. And I'm gonna say a word that makes a lot of developers' brain neurons become ooga booga big monkey happy. Modularity. Script modularity, where it can just be chunked into anything. Very neat. Yes, look at these. These generated in a dark area. Good job, fellas. I'd give you a high five if I could. Let's just pretend there's a high five. Pew. There you go. Very cool. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. Yes, sir.